All right, the White Lotus season 3, episode 3, The Meaning of Dreams. This is going to be a spoiler filled review. If you guys are not caught up on the White Lotus season 3, episode 3, please stop watching as we are going to dive into spoilers and talk about it. Still pretty early in the season. I thought this was probably the slowest episode and my least favorite. It still was interesting enough, that I watched it, and I still want to see what happens, but it just felt like it was the slow burn episode, almost like a filler episode to some degree. It just was um, too 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 much of a tease. I feel like everything's just gonna happen in the last episode or something. But this one opens with the mom Victoria, played by Parker Posey, having that weird nightmare with the tsunamis, and then we go back to the bed and breakfast or whatever it is. Clearly, it's the only breakfast spot that there is. Um, Walton Goggins spots. I'm gonna see. I already forget how to pronounce it. Tritala. Um, and he totally just turns on the charm mode. Meanwhile, the mom's just like talking about her dream and stuff, and tells her son to stop watching tsunami videos before bed. Uh, the girlfriend, Amy Lou Wood, spots Walton Goggins, and I think she's still like thinking the same thing as us. Like, where did this charm come from? As he asks her about her acting career and says there's a project that she might be interested in, and he wants her to meet the director or something like that in Bangkok. Then he comes back, and the lady wants to schedule another therapy appointment with him. Really dig down to his problems. Um, the three girls are still kind of flirting with that masseuse guy, and setting up that one girl. What's her name? Lori, played by Carrie Coon, to kind of have a fling with him and take his like energy class. Meanwhile, Timothy, played by Jason Isaacs, his phone is going off, and he's finds out that the FBI is looking for him or whatever. So he's kind of screwed, and he's just listening to voicemails. He doesn't talk to anybody, I don't think. And then the guard guy, who's all into Lisa from BLACKPINK, Guy Talk, uh, meets up with Sritala. God, I'm pronouncing her name wrong. I know. Already forget how to pronounce it. And just gives his thanks, and she talks about how brave he is for uh, attempting to stop that robbery and fighting the guy or whatever. But then he like offers his service to her, and like, if you ever need me, let me know. And her like bodyguards give him a mean look, which made me think, like, were they the robbers or something? I don't know. They seemed sus. Anyways, Patrick Schwarzenegger's character, what's his name? Saxon. Of course, it's Saxon. Is getting work calls from his dad's company, and his dad's like, "Don't answer it, don't answer it," and he gets all distracted with his protein shake, um, and the dad ends up deciding we should all put our phones away. I think we should just do what you guys were saying in the beginning. Um, it was weird. I actually thought he had put his phone in first, but then later like hesitates when the lady asks, like, you got to give up your device too, and he's like, mine? Like, dude, how do you think you were gonna get? Did you really think you were gonna get away with making everybody give away their phones but not yours? Like, I thought that was the whole point. Um, anyways, Patrick Schwarzenegger later is telling his little brother like he needs to get laid and drink your protein shake, like, gulp it or whatever. It was weird. Um, Guy Talk and Mook are still just catching up, kind of flirting. He tells her about how he, wouldn't ever want to leave the island without her, basically, but he did offer his service to uh, Sritala. And then we see the daughter, played by Sarah Catherine Hook, named Piper. Piper's her name. Uh, Talk about how she had an appointment or something, and I don't know. I didn't really know where that was going. Seemed really random. And then the energy thing with Lori didn't really go anywhere, I feel like. And then we had to see the little brother, what's his name, Lachlan's posture class. Patrick Schwarzenegger is still flirting with that one girl who's friends with the British girl, Chloe. Walton Goggins and Chelsea go off to find weed that he needs. And then Guy Talk gets like bullied by those two bodyguards again, telling him to like back off basically and calling him names. Walton Goggins finds his weed, but then he gets distracted by this like snake show or something like that. Victoria makes Timothy take one of her pills. I don't know, like Vicodin or whatever. I don't know what it is. But he's all resistant in front of her. But as soon as she leaves, he does take it. Um, Goes back to the snake show where Walton Goggins is kind of freaking out watching the snakes, seeing them all in cages and stuff. Then he freaks out and ends up letting them all loose. And of course, Chelsea gets bit by one of the snakes he lets loose. And somehow she's perfectly fine later, and she's having dinner with her new friend that she's made, and the guy from Chloe and the guy from season 1 and 2 of White Lotus. But again, surprised she's okay from the snake bite. Thankfully, Walton Goggins blames it on the weed being laced, but I'm like, dude, how are you guys still together after that? Yeah, the three women have a pretty awkward conversation that gets pretty political. Um, but I'm sure, I guess that's relatable, with everything going on. But it seemed pretty interesting to put that in. But I know Hollywood is usually tends to lean that way. Belinda is her name, played by Natasha Rothwell. Was having dinner with that one guy and starts to tell a story, and she starts to remember that she does recognize that guy from the woman she met, which was Jennifer Coolidge. And she confronts him at the table all awkwardly, and he completely denies it. And she kind of just walks away, not really satisfied. And I'm glad she's on to him. I'm glad somebody's on to him. Uh, and then Patrick Schwarzenegger and Chloe like start eyeballing each other from across the way, and the guy immediately notices and gives her like the meanest look. And then Guy Talk gets threatened again by like his own boss or something that we have to talk tomorrow. Like, dude, stop teasing me. Amy Lou Wood, Chelsea, basically tells Walton Goggins, "You can't get rid of me." I'm like, lady, why are you with this guy? He let you get bit by a snake. Like, he's so emotionally detached, and like, what does he even give you? I don't understand. Uh, Natasha Rothwell gets home, and I don't really know exactly what she sees, but definitely she feels like somebody's been there or is there. We don't get to see, of course, because they're just teasing us this whole episode. But definitely get the feeling that old guy from season 1 and 2 is trying to Greg uh, is trying to hunt her down, take out any witnesses. And then the one of the three ladies, what's her name? God, there's so many names to remember. Kate, played by Leslie Bibb. She wakes up and hears the other two ladies talking about her, and it made me realize, like, wow, they've all kind of each had a turn hearing the other two talk shit about them. It's kind of funny, but clearly they're all gonna turn on each other at some point, I feel like. Uh, and then it ends with Timothy, Jason Isaacs, still going for the pills in secret, and just is keeping it from his wife, who's just drugged up on drugs, I swear to God, all the time. She even tells him, like, take one of my pills, and he's like, no, I don't do that shit. And then kind of falls asleep, and that's how the episode ends. Had a couple moments here and there, but it just was like one of the slowest episodes for me, like I said. Just felt like it was kind of just filler. I don't know how else to describe it. Teasing me at all these interesting things that are going to happen. So I hope it picks up next episode. I know I've been behind, so I apologize. Just been busy, but thank you to whoever's watching. I appreciate you. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.